Hello Internet. Today we have a CPU that came in for repair. I'll show you what's wrong with it. Right after I show you that the capacitor that I need to replace is in here. As a matter of fact, this cap is so small I can't even see it. I'm not even sure if it's there. No, I'm pretty sure it's there. I already looked under a microscope. So this CPU here, don't know what happened to it. It got delided, so the lid of it was removed, and consequently we have some solder blobs. See here, and some of the capacitors got sort of thrown off the board. One got knocked off. The other one I lifted and moved it aside so that I can get its value. And that's basically what I'm doing here today. Is I am trying to resolder the capacitor that I have ordered so I can replate the pads and hopefully get this CPU back to where it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and first what I want to do is I want to resolder that one capacitor back to where it belongs if I can. There we go. That was extremely difficult, believe it or not. Now let's go ahead and introduce the other capacitor that had just arrived today. And that capacitor is so small, I gotta be super careful that I do not lose it. I think I need to open it from the other end. Here maybe. There you go. It's not gonna look the same, but it will be the same value. And that's all I care about. Okay, let's bring it in here. Hopefully it didn't fall anywhere along the way. Dude, look at this. This thing is tiny. It is so tiny. It's a slightly different color, but the value is the same, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. So let's go and carefully solder that thing on here. And I don't seem to be able to do that as easy as I'd like. There we go. Okay, we managed. Perfect. All right. Now what I want to do next is let this thing cool down, and I'm going to wick that solder from those pads, and let's see if any more pads are damaged. No, they're all looking good. And then I'm going to replate. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pads that need replating. Yeah, everything else is just fuzz, and that should be it. I don't see any other damage. As a matter of fact, on the front of the CPU, the components that often get damaged by the deleting process were actually covered up to prevent that very thing from happening. So I'm going to let this thing cool down, and we'll continue on with replating these pads. Alright, so the chip is still over 100 degrees. I want to wick those pads, but I do not want to affect any pads that are nearby. So I'm going to try to isolate these pads with some Captain tape like that, and let's see if we can wick these pads. And I am using some kind of a very fine wick, and let's see how that works. I should probably put a little bit of flux on there to make it easier, like so. There we go. Almost perfect. I think that did it. And one more pad that's on the right. I think we can just shave that off with a razor blade, or at least we can try. Yep, that's actually one of the ways to do it, because the solder is softer than the pad itself. It will come out relatively easy. So as you can see here, then we can probably glide over these pads here as well. And let's change the light so I can see a little bit better what's going on. Alright, now let's let this thing cool down completely, and then we're going to try to polish these pads. It looks like we have a little bit more splatter here. I can shave that off. I'm not gonna worry about plating these pads. That would be unnecessary. Okay, so we can just carefully shave these things off, and that should be it. Alright, let's let this thing cool down. Now I want to isolate these pads, the ones that I'm going to be working on. I'm not exactly sure how exactly to approach this, so I'm just going to have to figure this out as I go. But I'm thinking I'm just going to isolate these, work on them, and when I'm done, I'm just going to move over to the other pads, this one here, and work on that. See, I want to be able to get to it close enough so that I can kind of rub it in. So maybe just on the edge of this almost. It's very difficult to get this right. I think I can try this. See, that's close enough. It should be. Let's bring in some more. These 4 pads are probably going to be the easiest ones to work on. I'm going to dial in the lights here just a little bit so it's a bit more easier to see what is it that I'm doing. And I'm just trying to isolate these pads, basically. Something like that. And one more piece that's gonna go in here like this. All right, now let's see if I can manage, I hope so, if I can manage to polish this. So we're gonna pour some alcohol in here like so, and let's see if we can polish these. That seems like it's working. Yep, that got them nice and shiny. So let's clean them up, and we need to get our plating going. So I'm gonna be using 24 karat brush gold solution for this. You can buy this solution separately from anywhere else. You do not need to buy any kind of gold plating kit for this. You just need the solution. And buying a kit is a lot of money wasted. So let's put that solution in here like so, just a drop, and then we're going to bring in about 5 volt. So we're bringing 5 volt into here, and if you start panicking, don't panic just yet, because I am limiting this to just 1 milliamp. And not only that, the current flow between the pad and the solution is going to be so minimal that there will be no current leaking through whatsoever. So there's nothing to worry about. You can even do this with 12 volt if you wanted to. The higher the voltage, the faster it'll go, basically. So even if I touch 2 probes, nothing happens. Like I'm touching them now and there's no current flowing in between because the current is so low you can't even see it. So what I want to do is I want to touch just the edge of the pad with the probe, and you can see how it turns yellow. I don't know if you can see this. Let me adjust the light. There you go. What I do want to do is I want to keep adding new solution. So I gotta change the light so I can see what I'm doing here. And that solution just keeps getting away. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that tape, because that tape is just causing so many problems right now. It pulls the solution away. So let's try again. That's gonna give me a lot more room to pour that stuff down, and I can actually see better what I'm doing. That tip is bone dry. I need to saturate that tip so I can have a good size drop on that chip. Let's try one more time. Okay, that's a little better. There we go. That pad looks good. I'm going to continue on with this one, and I'm going to touch that pad from different angles so I can electroplate that pad across the entire surface. Not just on one side, but on all sides if possible. It looks like we're already dry. It's not that it's evaporating, it's just that I can't seem to get enough of it. And the tip that I'm using, it just keeps soaking it back in. I think we were here. Probably touch off this pad, this one here, and that's it. As you can see here, we have these 4 pads plated. Let's focus on this thing here, see if we can do the exact same thing with that pad. Now I wonder if I can polish just that one pad by itself without the need of isolating it. So let's see. Yep, looks like that worked. All I needed to do is I just wanted to remove the residual solder from that pad, and with everything nice and clean, let's introduce some more gold, and let's see if we can. Looks like we're a little bit dry. Let's add some more. There we go. Just the edge. I want to touch the edge of that pad, and I want to keep that tip close. There we go. It's starting to look good. All right, I think we're done here. Let's go ahead and get rid of all that gold plating stuff. We now have a gold plated tip on our probe. That's always a plus, so can't complain about that. Let's get rid of that. Need to wipe this whole thing out, maybe even blow it out. And you can see that some of the pads have received a little extra gold on them. That's fine, even better. So, and let me show you what they had on the other end. And on the other end, all of these resistors, there's some resistors here and there. So if you knock those off, the chip's not going to work. But I think it's going to work. Unfortunately, I do not know if I can test this. I would really like to get it tested. Make sure that it, at the very least, posting some kind of an image or something. So I don't know if this chip has a built-in iGPU. It might. It's Intel after all, so Intel is usually pretty good when it comes to that. So let's see. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna try to see if I can rig something up to get this CPU tested somehow without a proper. See, I wish I had a cap, but I don't have a cap, and without a proper cooler, I might not be able to do that. So we'll see. If I can't figure out how to test this, it's going to be very unfortunate for all of us. But even using a custom-made jigs, what happens is these components get knocked off. But in this case, it was even less dramatic. But somehow the damage got to the back of the board or the chip, and the customer tried to fix it himself. So. Alright, so the owner had sent me the lid for this thing. So let's go ahead and apply some liquid metal on here, seal it up, and test it out. Make sure that it works, because otherwise I don't know how am I supposed to charge him for repair if this thing ain't working. So let's put some liquid metal on here. And the good thing about this CPU is that unlike the GPU core, there's plenty of room for this stuff to leak around the die. As you can see here, there are no capacitors on the edges of the crystal or the die. So we need to apply very little. It will spread itself out. As a matter of fact, that's too much. It needs to be almost dry. There we go. That should be it. That should be plenty. Kind of sort of eyeball it. We don't need to be like super precise. Just kind of get it there. So I will put some clear UV resin. That's very easily removed. You just apply some heat and scrape it away with a dull instrument like a tweezer, nothing super sharp, and that will come off super easy. That should hold it enough for me to test. So let's bring in the PC and see if we can get this thing to boot. So let's get the old CPU out of there. And let's bring in the new one. I hope it's supported though by this motherboard. I don't know. Hopefully it is. And with that there, we are able to actually properly compress that CPU so that we can do some testing. That's all I wanted to see. Alright, so we're gonna put some paste on here to keep it happy, at least for some time. Like that. HDMI cable, and probably want a keyboard just in case so we can go in the BIOS or whatever. And that's it. Let's push the power button and see if it boots. It might take a while. Yep, I think we got a boot. Yay! Alright, what are we seeing here? Yeah, don't care. So, CPU 14900KS. Perfect. Alright, that's really all I wanted to see. So, let's take a screenshot of that so we have something to send to the customer. And that will be it for this repair. Thank you for watching. That will be it. Hopefully this was educating. Goodbye.